Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2021-22 season. My name is Dan, and today we are doing a buy, sell, keep, avoid episode for Gameweek 12. I'm very excited to be back, guys. Obviously, I've had a little bit of time off over the international break as I got married. Excellent time off. I've really enjoyed my time away, but yeah, I am obviously really excited to be back, really excited to get stuck back in with some YouTube, with some FPL, with some research, all that stuff. I'm really excited to get back into the Premier League action without a shadow of a doubt, guys. So here we go. If you do enjoy this video, please do like it. If you haven't done already, please do subscribe as well. I really appreciate that. And yeah, before we go any further, quick word from the sponsor today, which is of course OneFootball. For those of you who don't know what OneFootball is, it's a great app/website for all things football. I personally use the OneFootball mobile app to check on lineups, scores for Premier League games that I might not have watched, and also international games. You know, there's been a lot of international football over the break, obviously. So yeah, keeping up to date with who's doing well around the globe really has been really useful using the app there as well, as I'm not going to watch every single game. It's just not really possible, is it? So yeah, there we go, guys. Great source for football news, transfer rumours, all that stuff. So if you like that kind of thing, go check it out. Completely free, link in the description. So very quickly, buys are players you probably don't have but should consider bringing in. Sells are players you probably have but should consider removing. Keeps are players you probably have and you should definitely keep these players. And avoids finally are players who are pretty hyped up right now. I don't actually think you should be buying these players. I think you should be avoiding these players. So 4 categories, 2 players in each. You guys know the drill by now. Let's crack on and let's see who our first player is in the buy category. So our first buy today is Diogo Jota, and I think if there's one rule we can apply to Jota, it's that if he is guaranteed minutes, you have to get him in. And that's kind of the situation we're in right now, making him the primary Game Week 12 transfer target. So Firmino, he's got a hamstring injury. He's expected to be out for at least a month. This leaves Liverpool with 1 player short in the attacking department. After that, we kind of have the Africa Cup of Nations in early January, which could pave the way for Jota to play in Salah and Mane's absence. And so we're kind of expecting Jota to play as a central striker for the time being, and then as a winger, but for quite a long time during a pretty busy fixture schedule as well. So usually we kind of expect some rotation here, and Jota would be considered a risk, but the stars kind of have aligned here. So it kind of leaves us with the central striker of the best attack in the league, guaranteed playtime, playing out of position, picking up those extra points for goals and clean sheets, with a great run of fixtures for quite some time, all for just 7.5 million. Now that makes him a really good pick. And although I wouldn't expect too many points immediately against an informed Arsenal team, Liverpool do play at home, and as some of you guys know, in the 2 substitute appearances Jota made against Arsenal last season, he actually scored 3 goals in just 39 minutes of football. Now I wouldn't read into that too much, but it's a nice confidence booster if you're worrying about this transfer. After that, the fixtures are sublime all the way until mid-February, which incidentally is roughly when AFCON is due to finish anyway. So yeah, really good fixtures. Everything kind of looks really good here. Let's do a quick note on those underlying stats. Some of you guys may be looking at the stats, the scores and stuff like that. Jota, unfortunately, over the last 5 has only started 3 of those games, and those 3 starts were against Man City, Man United, where he bagged a goal and an assist, and finally that tough game against West Ham. So although those stats on screen don't look anything special, I really would not read into them too much. In conclusion, guys, I'm 90% sure that I'm going to be transferring in Jota myself this week. This is one of those transfers I'm very confident in. He's a really natural Havertz replacement too. So those of you who have gone for Havertz in the past, you want to move on from Havertz, you know, Lukaku's back. Yeah, a really nice buy would be to go for Jota. My next buy is Harry Kane. The Kane versus Son debate seems to be raging on over the international break. FPL players, you're naturally going to capitalise on the new look Spurs side under Conte. And I want to tell you guys, whatever the outcome is, right now I am firmly Team Kane. And honestly, I think more people would actually be Team Kane if he wasn't so hard to fit in our FPL teams. So we kind of got Ronaldo. He's about to play Watford. He's got an insane fixture swing soon after that. Lukaku's back fit. Vardy has an amazing fixtures after the Chelsea game. So there are kind of limited amounts of players that you're probably willing to sacrifice to get Kane. But hear me out. I do believe Jota is the primary midfield transfer rather than Son. I think the goals Kane has scored over the international break, they're going to give him a great deal of confidence, dare I say form, of which Son is lacking a little bit. I believe Conte also kind of favours the target man striker. We've kind of seen that in the past. And I think that Kane has the higher ceiling and is more captainable, if that makes sense. rather than Son. You know, if you want to pick a captain for a given game week, are we going to be captaining Son? Perhaps not, but Kane is that really nice captain option for you. Now, of course, I could be wrong about all of this, and football, you know, is a funny old game, and I have to admit that there seems to be a real kind of service problem at Spurs right now, which means Kane may not have the opportunities to score, but Kane can create chances for himself, and when we look at these fixtures ahead, Leeds, Burnley, Brentford, Norwich, there's surely got to be some goals here for Kane. I don't really see how there wouldn't be. Then after that, we're kind of at game week 16, the week Ronaldo faces Norwich and embarks on United's insane fixture swing, starting against Norwich again. So you can have your striker play Norwich one week and then swap them to another striker who plays Norwich again. So it's kind of an easy switch, just using one transfer to go from Kane to Cristiano Ronaldo in game week 16, and you're kind of reeling in those premium points once again. I really do adore this strategy, and I'm hoping it's going to pay dividends as well. Oh, and one more bit of bonus information for you guys. No team has conceded a higher percentage of chances down the centre than Leeds over the past 5 game weeks. So Leeds concede an insane 56% of chances down the middle. So yes, as I say, it could be time for Kane to feast. Onto themselves, we're going to start you off with Demarai Gray. I know I've been saying avoid Everton midfielders for quite some time now, but I think we're kind of all on the same page by now. Unfortunately, this doesn't really help the unfortunate souls who are still lumbered with the players like Demarai Gray, Andros Townsend, and with both Man City and Liverpool to play in the next 3, and Arsenal and Chelsea are shortly after that as well. This kind of out-of-form Everton team doesn't look like it's going to be miraculously changing anytime soon. So I just kind of feel like Everton have been disappointing this season. Fair enough, injuries have played a part in that, but I think we just need to forget about the Everton experiment until the fixtures improve. Maybe with the eventual reintroduction of Calvert-Lewin, their fortunes may change, but I believe we're still at least a week away from that. Now, obviously, if you've got multiple transfers to use or a load of money in the bank or something like that, Jota is going to be your primary target as a midfield replacement. Maybe a Foden or Bernardo if you fancy risking Pep Roulette during a busy fixture period. And nearer to Gray's price, we kind of have Bowen, although I do think it may be a little bit early to go for Bowen given the fixtures. And around the same price as Gray and Townsend, you have 2 really nice natural replacements in Gallagher and Smith Rowe. Gallagher for Crystal Palace, he's got great fixtures. Maybe does suffer from a little bit of unpredictability. Plus, with Eze coming back, we don't know what's going to happen, if that's going to affect him a little bit, maybe. But overall, I think this is a great way to get into that promising-looking Palace side. And Smith Rowe, a player in fine form and a lot of confidence playing for an Arsenal side that is also in really good form. He seems to be popping up in all the right places to score those goals. The fixtures, however, are a little bit mixed, but don't be too put off by that Liverpool fixture. I still think Arsenal could potentially score in this one. So, yeah, lots of great options there. Sell those Everton midfielders and start investing in some real FPL potential. My next sell is Cesar Azpilicueta. I think we all kind of thought at one point that Azpi was pretty much nailed at Chelsea, or at least he was going to be getting the most minutes out of those Chelsea defenders in that really nice Chelsea defence. That was kind of the reason why a lot of people brought him. Now, 1 game was missed, fine. 2 games missed. Okay, we're getting a little bit worried now. But now he has played 0 minutes in 3 consecutive Premier League games. And I think you kind of just have to take the L and sell him at this point. Even if you think he's going to come back into this team, which he will to some extent, just look at the fixture schedule. Lots of games means lots of rotation for a manager like Thomas Tuchel. And for a player who is already on the fringes, surely there's next to 0 chances of Azpi stringing several starts together in a row. You can't really see that happening, can you? And even if he were to start a load of games, is he even a good FPL pick? You know, particularly if he's playing centre-back, you can't really see him displacing Reece James at right wing-back at the moment. So he's going to be playing at centre-back primarily. Then 5.9 million, that's kind of way too expensive, even if he was starting, especially if we're talking about a player who doesn't really have any attacking threat unless he's playing at wing-back. And finally, guys, those defender slots are so valuable, particularly all of these wing-backs that are doing so well. Kind of think about Trent, Cancelo, James, Chilwell, Livramento, potentially some of those Spurs fullbacks, Tariq Lamptey as well, who's a player I've got my eye on as well. There's just so many, so desirable defenders right now that we really do need to be prioritizing our defender slots for those priority defenders, I guess. And Azpilicueta is just not one of them, so you kind of just have to sell him and get someone else in there instead. Onto some keeps. We've got Ivan Toney, possibly the most frustrating player in the entirety of FPL right now. I don't know if you guys agree with that or not. I've never even owned him, and I'm getting frustrated with him. Like, it's got to that point. He's played 90 minutes in every single game so far this season, and yet he only has 1 goal from open play, 1 penalty goal, and 2 assists. And all of this is in a Brentford team that actually looks quite good. This guy is a guy who scored 30 goals last season. Like, how is this possible? Now, I guess the main problem, the main reason why Toney is not kind of delivering is that he's not playing in the same position as he was last year. He's not playing in the same formation, and he's not even playing the same role in this Brentford side as he was last season. The Toney that was kind of hyped up over the summer is literally not the same guy that we received this year. And it still kind of looks like Mbeumo is the main attacking threat, even though he's been pretty frustrating to own as well. So for many of you, a blank against Norwich was the final straw. So why am I saying Toney is a keep? Well, because Newcastle. The Newcastle factor, right? Newcastle, the game up next for Brentford. Newcastle are arguably just as bad in defence as Norwich. And a few of you guys here are probably going to expect a new manager bounce under Eddie Howe. But it's going to take a bit of a miracle, I think, for Newcastle to immediately become a better team. They still do have a really poor squad, especially in defensive positions. No manager is going to make them miraculously better. And on top of that, Newcastle have replaced a defensive manager in Bruce with an actual, a fairly attacking manager in Eddie Howe. So Howe is going to be a great long-term, project manager at Newcastle, but with the current personnel, the playing personnel they have at the club, I can genuinely see Newcastle conceding just as many goals, if not more goals, under Howe. They'll be scoring more goals, don't get me wrong, that'll be good, but I don't know. Let me know if you guys agree with me or not, but I can see Newcastle still being a team to target, at least, with our attackers, at least up till January, where they can make some signings. I therefore feel like unless you literally have the perfect squad elsewhere, you may as well keep Toney for at least this game week. And if you want a bonus fact as well, I do like the bonus facts. No team has conceded more penalties than Newcastle this season so far. Perfect scenes for our new favourite penalty merchant, Toney. Next keep is Cristiano Ronaldo. So when I make these videos, I will go and look at the transfer trends to kind of try and identify what the hype trends are right now. Who are people hating? Who are people loving? And I was really surprised to see that Ronaldo is one of the most sold players this game week. Ronaldo, who is about to play Watford, this is kind of madness, right? If I had Ronaldo, I'd probably be thinking about actually captaining him this week. Definitely not selling him. So this is a kind of a wild one. It feels like one of those instances where maybe people are just looking at the points a player has scored recently and none of the context. The context is that Ronaldo has had some pretty tough fixtures. He's perhaps been a little bit unlucky with some chances missed and goals disallowed. As for his Champions League form, absolutely incredible. He's basically kept United in that competition. So to say that Ronaldo is struggling or that he's out of sorts, out of form, I don't think that's quite right. And another narrative that I'm seeing a lot at the moment is that Ronaldo is going to be rested over the busy fixture schedule. I'm kind of not convinced by that either, to be honest. Can United even afford to drop Ronaldo right now, given that the pressure that they're under? And with Champions League, he's been playing 2 games a week already. Anyway, that's been happening anyway. So is that going to very suddenly change? I mean, maybe, but all players become a minor rotation risk during heavy fixture schedules, and I'm not sure this is all that different. You can't just avoid these great players with great fixtures just because, what if they get rotated? So yeah, I do like Ronaldo. I'll be bringing him into my own team very, very soon. If you already have him, great. And the only player I would kind of consider changing him for is Kane. And even that, I think, can potentially wait a week. And even so, I probably wouldn't do that anyway, really. Kane, whilst he is exciting, he is still a bit of a mystery at the moment. And Ronaldo has kind of already proven himself this season, and I think he can do it again. On to some avoids, we've got Raphinha. Now, I love Raphinha, but I've been, honestly, a little bit jealous of his owners recently because I don't own Raphinha. I've been kind of jealous of you guys who do own him, but he's definitely not someone I'd be looking to buy right now. I think the FPL website's rating on the fixtures is maybe a little bit misleading. Spurs away, that's going to be tough. Brighton away, that's going to be really tough as well. Palace have actually looked kind of good recently. I'm considering changing them actually from a green fixture to maybe a grey fixture on my personal graphics. And Brentford, you never really know what you're going to get, so I don't know how to categorise that one. But you can kind of see on screen those fixtures, but after that, it really does get terrible. So after that, Leeds play Chelsea away, City away, Arsenal at home, and then Liverpool away. So in the next 8 games, all in a row, it's a pretty awful run of fixtures all in all. So you are going to kind of, even if you bring in Raphinha now, you can't kind of book in a transfer. You're going to have to take him out again pretty soon, probably. The underlying stats as well show that whilst Raphinha has been taking a lot of shots, they've been pretty low quality chances, and maybe he's overperformed a little bit, particularly on his goal scoring, something that is more difficult to do in these tougher fixtures. We've got an incomplete and underwhelming Leeds attack here too. I don't really like Raphinha as a buy when there's so many nice midfield options to go for that we kind of spoke about earlier. I would maybe even consider selling Raphinha if I had him, especially if he is the easiest route to a player like Jota or Foden or Son or someone like that. I'm definitely not saying I hate Raphinha or I never want Raphinha again. I think we will be looking at him again later on in the season. I just think now is perhaps not the right time to buy Raphinha. And our final avoid is Michail Antonio. Now, this is kind of a weird one as well. Antonio is actually the 5th most transferred in player this game week. That's crazy, right? I guess I'm not complaining since I own Antonio and I was kind of worried about his price dropping. But I just think it's a strange player to bring in this game week, and I didn't really expect so many people to be doing so. Now, I still think Antonio is a keep, but I'm not sure I'd be buying him this week. His next 4 fixtures are really poor. He's managed just 1 goal contribution in the last 5 game weeks. The underlying stats don't look amazing. I do think he'll come back to form soon, but surely if you're going to go for a West Ham attacker, you're looking at Bowen instead. That's what I'd be doing. If I could have just one West Ham attacker right now, it would be Bowen for sure. He's cheaper, he scores more points as a midfielder, he's got far better underlying stats, he's passing the eye test, he won't be rotated over the busy fixture period particularly well, especially not as much as Antonio, and may even replace Antonio as the striker in some of these games over Christmas, really. So Bowen is definitely the West Ham attacker I'd buy right now, and assuming you even, that's assuming that you actually want a West Ham attacker as well, because they do play Man City and Chelsea in the next 4. So yeah, if you're buying a West Ham attacker, I wouldn't make it Antonio. But if you're just looking for a forward around this price point, I guess Callum Wilson is your guy. Not really sure who else I'd go for, to be honest, other than Wilson around that price point. But I'd definitely go for Wilson over Antonio. I did actually make a video on differentials the other day where I speak about Wilson. So if you kind of want to go have a look at that, please do. If you're considering Wilson, maybe that will help you make up your mind whether you fancy him or not. But yeah, overall, Antonio, weird player to bring in at this moment. And if any of you are thinking about bringing him in, or if you've already done it, I would love to know your reasonings, actually. I would love to know your reasons. I kind of get that West Ham are a great team. We expect them to get some results even in those tough games. But is now really the optimal time to buy Antonio? Please do let me know. So in summary, guys, I truly believe Jota is the target number 1 for this game week. He should be your number 1 target to bring in. After that, it's all about getting that Spurs attacker in. I still prefer Kane, but that's kind of up to you. Everton players, they got to go. Those non-template defenders have to make way for those template defenders as well. Don't buy Raphinha, and I would definitely be keeping and maybe even captaining Ronaldo versus Watford in this game week. So yeah, there you go, guys. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you did enjoy, please do leave a like. Please do subscribe if you're new around here as well. I did want to give a quick shout out to the Just Giving thing that I'm doing at the moment in aid of a mental health charity in the country that I live in the UK. So, guys, I did a stream with my now wife just a few days ago, and we were trying to raise a little bit of money for Mind charity. So, guys, if you wouldn't mind going to check that out, go check out the stream, go check out the charity, and if you have any, ability to donate and support the charity, that would be massively appreciated. We are looking to raise £1,000 for charity, and hopefully we can do that, and with a few more of your guys' help. So do go check out that stream. It's a pretty fun one, so you're not going to regret it. But yeah, there you go. I'll stop talking now. I will see you tomorrow for a team selection video. That'll be my last video of the game week. Then we'll do a deadline stream on Saturday, and then we'll be done, guys. That will be our game week 12 content. Not quite as much as usual, but I've been pretty busy. There we go. So yeah, thanks once again for watching, guys, and I will see you later, mates. Bye-bye.